I want to know on your little. Well, it's not little. I shouldn't put it that way. On your bandsaw incident, I myself have had a pretty gruesome event on a bandsaw. How I kind of read through what happened, and it was similar to what happened to me. So, can you explain to us a little bit what went on there and what happened and how bad that was?
Yep. So I was milling this particular day all day, probably 6 hours of the same repeatable cut on the bandsaw, just
Yeah.
resawing wood. And I was an inch away from my very last saw of the day. And I don't know if I mean, I do know. I just, my mind wandered. And also, I was using a really, I wouldn't even call it a push stick. It was a scrap piece of wood about an 1/8 inch thick. And I was using that all day. Like, I'm just very stupid for not making a real push stick. So I made this. I mean, I didn't even make this. I found a scrap piece of wood and I was using that to push it through the saw every time. I mean, all day. I don't know why I didn't make something legit, but anyways, that's what I was using. And sure enough, that thing broke on my last cut in my hand because you're pushing like through the blade and against the fence, right? So when that broke, my hand literally followed the break and went right into the blade and then came out of it. And I was lucky that I did have the guard on, but I think there was actually even supposed to be another little guard that I took off for some reason. But I'm very lucky that it was just it wasn't any ligament or bone damage. I still have the finger, still works, still have feeling. Very lucky, but yeah, that's kind of what happened. And after a lot of other people I talked to about it, really the thing to take away is not only obviously like be safe, use proper equipment and push sticks, but also most of these accidents seem to happen when you're doing something monotonous, like all day long. And I don't think it was a coincidence that it happened on my very last cut of a 6 hour day. So
Yeah, that was
that's
kind
kind
of
of like,
similar. That was kind of similar. I was doing repetitive. I was cutting out crosses. Been doing it for I don't know how many hours, and getting close to the end, it was just going so quick, and I was in a hurry. And I reached around thinking that I had turned the bandsaw off, and it went right straight down the middle of my index finger.
Oh,
Yeah. So, and it happened so quick. Just it was like just zit, and I pulled my hand back out, put it in my shirt, and my wife was walking in the shop at the time, and she said, "Do I need to take you to the hospital?" I said, "Yep. Electrical tape is not going to
no
work on
question.
this one."
Let's just do that.
Yeah. And it just, you get fatigued in your mind. You're thinking you just want to get done, and you're just in a hurry. And that's when you let your guard down. And that's what happened with dust collector going and everything. That saw it I turned around without even kind of looking, and I put my hand in the wrong place, and man, it was quick. Yeah.
you don't even think of those as like, you're probably wearing headphones too, so you can't hear it, and you have the dust collector. That's probably, it happens quite a bit.
Yeah, it's I took a lot away from that one, just learning to slow down, or if you're getting tired, just stop. Just stop. Don't. Back then in my younger days, I was a little more ambitious and I took a lot of risk. And now that I've gotten older and wiser, I don't do that. I still make stupid moves sometimes, but not as bad as I used to back then. But yeah, it's it'll get you pretty quick in that shop if you're not paying attention. I can tell you that.
100%.
So I'll segue into the other part of it is as soon as you get cut and you're making a video for YouTube. So how quickly do you go? Like you're out there getting stitches, going, how am I going to put this in the video and make it? Like, are you immediately thinking about
100%.
how to go further with it?
What? I mean, it doesn't suck, but like, I wasn't filming it. I think I've been injured like two, or at least definitely two, maybe three times on videos, like pretty bad, like decent injuries. And none of them were on film because it's always like the end of the day or like the last thing, or I already have it shot. So I didn't have it on film. But when I was in the hospital, I was trying to sneak little videos in there. But they were telling me, like, they said I couldn't film in there, but I had my wife sneak a little camera in there.
It's
So.
my finger. Right? I signed a waiver. I'm okay.
Yeah, that and a lot of times you're like thinking, do I do it or not? Because then the trolls are going to come out and they're going to tell you why, what you did wrong, and why you did that, and how bad of a person you are for letting that happen. And it's like you're just trying to put that out there to teach people, hey, pay attention.
And when you have the camera on, so you do, you're doing the start. Here's what I'm going to do, blah blah blah, and then you have to make 50 cuts. If you're not filming that, you're not thinking, I need to be careful. You're just going through the motions, and next thing you know, your brain's asleep and your fingers awake.
Yep. I still haven't cleaned up my shop floor. There's still like red spots all over, and I actually want to keep it there, so I like remember.
Reminder.
Yeah,
CSI.
That's probably the same thing at the emergency room when I got there. The nurse that checks you in, she's like, I had my finger just tight in my shirt, right, and I wouldn't let go. And she's like, well, I need to see how bad it is to see if I need to take you in there right away. I said, it's pretty bad. You can just take my word for it. She said, I need to see. And I'm like, and there's a full waiting room of people. And I'm like, well, so okay. As soon as I took the pressure off, I mean, it just went solid red all over the floor. And she's like, "Oh my God,
no!"
And I said, "I told you."
Yeah, I'm just a dummy. I don't know anything.
Wait, did it come completely off?
No, it just went straight down this. I don't know. That's not my.
It went straight down your finger.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Stuck it in there.
And the most painful.
I'd have stopped at the tip.
Yeah, well, it went past the tip. It went.
I would have been done there. I mean, you went full bore.
The most painful part of that was the deadening shots that they had to do. That was the actual cut. I guess maybe because my adrenaline was going. I felt it, but that did not hurt. What hurt is when they started sticking needles in there to stitch me back up, and they were wanting to, like, oh, well, you're going to have to go through all these surgeries. I said, you sew that thing back up. I said, I'm not doing anything. I said, just sew it up. And they were like, well, sir, you're going to have to go through the, ain't going to happen. Sew it back up. So, yeah.
Oh man!
Goodness gracious! On to a different subject.
There you go. That's the gruesome part.